Grinners, it has been quite the day for reasons that we will hint at and maybe not say altogether just in case, but it has been quite the day. Um, and man, what way to cap it off. One of, and Oracle and I just talked very briefly before we went live, one of the stronger episodes of Dynamite I think they have ever done. I think that is saying something. Oracle, how are you on this wonderful Wednesday evening, my friend?
I'm well. Had a nice meal.
All good. That's always good. It's good when you've had your meal before rather than during.
Right. Which I often do.
Yeah, I'd
But
say
fine.
for me it's like before's best, during second, least is after because I feel you could be tired. So oh my goodness, we might the confirmed shoot is here. That great of a night, huh? That
All
great.
timer.
I'm surprised I didn't see you in the pre-show. That was too good of a show I was shocked you weren't here yet.
Brother, we talked about it here and we're going to get into it piece by piece, but a special show, one that I think was a reminder for anyone who had forgotten or was lost in the story of the week of what that group of talent is capable of. And 2 straight weeks here where AEW is here at the park. Fascinating times. We'll go piece by piece. First, though, shoot. The floor is yours for a moment. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
This is like 3 weeks now, isn't it?
I think so, but the last 2 have felt like
the last
historic.
Tonight was.
What was the week before? Oh, Punk and MJF. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great show too. So, yeah, it's been people said it right, and this is something that I want to quickly address here at the top. People said wait until the pay-per-view bill comes around, and all of those people have been proven correct. I want to be very clear about that. I do think something really interesting has happened in terms of format here. This week and last week, they did something really different for AEW in that the first hour of both shows were very promo heavy. Did you notice that's like last week we had the big Jericho segment. We had the obviously the big opening segment. This week we had Mox's promo, Punk's promo, and Hangman and Cole. And then the second hour, just like last week, was big match heavy. Do you think we're seeing some tinkering on the fly here, Oracle? What do you think in terms of the format? It feels like they're taking different directions slightly.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how the ratings trends are or whatever,
Right.
but to me it makes more sense to do it that way.
I agree.
Because,
it works, yeah.
You don't get worn out with these great hot matches in the first hour, and then by the time the second hour hits, you're just exhausted.
That was a problem.
Whereas, you get your teases and your big builds to big angles and feuds in the first hour,
Right.
but it doesn't totally whet your appetite. And then you get the last hour of matches. I think it's a smart format. I think it's a better format. Now they don't have to do it every time. They can mix it up a little. But I think generally this is probably a better way to go, and I think it's proven to be the case. I would say they're probably they might be 3 for 3 because other than maybe do we remember what happened before Punk and MJF 2 weeks ago?
I don't remember well. No,
because
I was trying to think of that.
They got 45 minutes
exactly
and all. So
was the Brandy and Dan Lambert thing on that show?
Yes, it was. Anyway, so moving on. Shoot, your thoughts on the format?
Tonight's show was perfectly paced, laid out perfectly.
Yes.
Even more so. I throw around the term perfectly loosely. Like I actually mean perfectly.
Yes. Even more so than last week, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was flawless this week.
And then like the chat's bringing up the crowd.
Oh my God.
Between both the crowd itself and then they clearly got the sound right this week.
Yes.
It sounded incredible.
Yeah,
I don't even know how much analysis I have to offer more than I'm just here to kind of sit here and pump
That's
my
fun.
fist and
That's
say
fun.
this was. I'm hesitant to say the best episode of Dynamite ever, just because it's hard. You forget
of course,
stuff, you forget, but it's in the conversation for sure.
It just felt more complete to me than anything I can recall. We'll get into this here as we go, but I think this start here, we'll start at the top, and this set the tone. CM Punk, middle of the ring, in that iconic position, did a little bit of a throwback there at the start. Then he set up the dog collar match, which, credit to the Grinner Circle, many of them in the chat said that he would be going that direction. The way that he brought the Piper piece together was so much more seamless than I feared it could be. The way he framed it. Look, guys, it's one of the great promos ever, cutting a money promo. And that's what this was, a money promo. We lose sight of what the idea of the promo is. It isn't just filling TV time. This was a money promo, and it got that match over even more than it already was. And the big point I want to make here, before I pass it to you guys, and this is something I've been very consistent on, very few wrestling ideas and concepts and themes are, inherently bad. People roll their eyes at an opening promo. Brothers, you can do it when it's CM Punk and he has something to talk about. It's all about execution rather than the idea itself for the most part. Shoot your thoughts on an incredible opening promo where, of course, MJF afterwards came out and was silenced. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was everything that Oracle and I love about CM Punk. I don't think I'm out of line speaking for him there. This is why we were attached to this man 13 years ago, or maybe a little bit earlier than that for you, Oracle. I can't remember your timeline. He just delivered here. It's a money promo. The Valentine stuff was so good. Number one, because if you got it, you got it. And if you didn't get it, you didn't need to get it. It still worked. Because I'll be honest with you, it didn't even click with me at first.
Mm-hmm.
Because my wife asked me what he was talking about, the Valentine's thing. Like, did he break up with his wife? And then it clicked with me. Wait, he's talking about the hammer. Yeah.
It would have been great. Remember when Greg went
this
to
was
a
awesome.
Dynamite?
The match is going to be.
Do you remember that shoot when Greg went to Dynamite?
Oh, yeah. He was in the crowd.
And he just looked really bored for the dog. They should have had that here. That would have been incredible.
That's happened multiple times with their crowd shots. It's kind of...
Yes. Anyway, my bad. Go ahead. Continue.
Anyway. Yeah, this match is going to be awesome. They're going to bleed all over the place. Oracle's going to lose his mind. I think that's a good segue to throw it to Oracle.
There you go. Oracle, go ahead.
Yeah, this was pretty great. You could tell, the crowd was kind of at first they were like, oh, starting with a promo. I wasn't even but then it was Punk. So then he naturally and authentically just grabbed them in. And I mean, yeah, this was, and I honestly didn't catch the Valentine thing until I saw Twitter and I was like, oh, okay. And then it popped me big. I loved MJF not saying anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it shows, it makes the match even feel more important.
Elevates the stick.
Never shuts the fuck up.
Yep.
So it showed, he showed fear, but also almost like he was ready for it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
MJF did, which I appreciated, and it's a nuance that's hard to do, but I think he did it pretty well. Yeah, this is shoot's not wrong. I mean, they're going to bleed everywhere, and I'm probably going to give it 6 stars or something. I mean,
is this the best singular feud that they've done in this company?
It probably is.
We've had some stuff where it kind of, it went away for a while, it came back, the overarching storyline, but this is an isolated, ongoing thing.
And it's now been 3 months, so it's a hell of a program. I want to quickly point out Frank's comment here. And by the way, guys, you guys know I keep my eye on the chat. If you want to send a super green, if you have something that for some reason you desperately need to ask us, free dipshits, streamlabs.com/late night grin. Again, I'll keep my eye on the chat anyway, but if you really want to support the show, please feel you can there. Anyway, what I was going to say was Frank's comment. That is something with Punk that I've really noticed. He's watching with my dad, he's way into the Punk stuff, but the hardcore fans are too. And that's really the idea of this shit, isn't it? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can work, both ways. And I think it is. I think it's been It's money, man. Now, and Punk Kingston comes up, and I was going to quickly say, like, I just don't think it had enough time.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was like a quick pay-per-view program. It wasn't like an overarching story, which is fine. Okay. Anything else on the opening segment, guys? Just great stuff, right?
Tremendous.
Okay. Jurassic Express did a promo. They had in a triple. I guess they're not Jurassic. They're just Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Christian. Yeah. They did a promo setting up the triple threat tag for Revolution. There'll be 2 battle royals. I did want to quickly throw it to Oracle because he mentioned to me a little bit of trepidation as to having potentially 2 triple threat title matches at the pay-per-view. I want you to speak on that. The one thing I will say is, and I'm intrigued on your take on this, I actually think this is the correct usage of this particular team. Now, whether you and I think they should be tag champions or not, I think we can speculate. Historically, I don't like the multi-team stuff. I've always been that way. I kind of think this is a good fit for those guys, and they can have the spot-heavy, thriller match rather than a traditional tag. Oracle, what do you think about that idea within your grander complaint? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of this tag title match, I think it makes more sense to do this because one, even though until tonight nothing was really announced for Revolution, there's stories that they've been doing. There hasn't been any story with the tag team title situation. So now they've put it here. I mean, they've had the TV feud for like the Gun Club and stuff, which is fine. But they haven't really had any like overarching,
the data would suggest that most people didn't think it was fine, but that's okay. I liked it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, so I think the triple threat format works in this case because you have 6 guys and 5 that can go and another that's hits a really slow spin kick. And sometimes doesn't know how to get in the right spot to hit his choke slam. But I think you're right. It'll probably go
10 to 12, brother.
Depends on who they're facing.
Fair. Yes,
and we'll talk about that later once we get to that segment. Because if they're facing those guys, that sucker's going 20.
25, brother. We'll get there.
But yeah, I mean, I generally I agree with you. I think the triple threat format will help them here,
right,
for sure.
And again, I do want to stress because I have to be consistent on this. I think that's telling in its own way, but that's whatever, right? They're the champs now, so this is you get what you get, I suppose. Okay, anything on that shoot before we get to Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty?
I'm fired up for 2 battle royals in 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure some people are like,
"Oh, yeah, you do love those."
I love battle royals, man. Who do we think they're like? The Bucks and Red Dragon, or do you think they're going to throw a wrench in there? Or
it really feels like there's a chance to get a mystery team in there, right?
I mean, the fact they're doing the Casino Battle Royal seems like a tell that they're doing something there. I don't know what it would be. I can think of a team.
Yeah, there's a couple of ideas. Yeah, a couple that come to mind. But this, for now, I think we can pencil in Bucks and Red Dragon because I think we expect the Bucks to miss the pay-per-view, and they're the ones that would lose in that scenario. So I think that's a good story to tell too, because that's much more.
I think that's how they keep the belts too. Is the 2 teams basically mess each other up, and
and then I assume that maybe the House of Black gets the belts after the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Okay, Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty. This is one of those matches in which, and I do not mean to slight Lee here, who is fabulous, and I've been high on since he came into the promotion, even a little bit before. But Danielson here, I thought, had like a performance where within about 30 seconds, everyone in the world that was watching this just took a slight step back. I was like, oh yeah, he's the greatest wrestler in the world. He was, good Lord, he looked like he was so desperate to beat the shit out of someone, man. He was so fired up here. You talked about the sound in this arena. In ring, it was apparent too, right? Because you could hear Danielson's stuff better than ever. Speaking of such, Lee Moriarty is over. He's got over with live crowds, and like, to be honest, based on what he's done on TV, that's kind of a triumph, right? That says something about Lee. The match was awesome. There was a great highlight that Shoot texted me about, and I'd already put in my notes, which was when Excalibur said the Border City stretch, and Jim said, the what? He may as well have called Excalibur a piece of shit. It was incredible. This match was so focused. Danielson strikes. It was a great match, but it was better than that. It was a great match that actually had a purpose and told the story they're going for. He could have gave Lee too much. And I don't mean that as an insult, Lee, but what I mean is when you're telling this story, he gave him the perfect amount because ultimately he came across like a bully for a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was just perfection. Shoot, I know you were popping huge for this one. What a match. My God.
It was so good. The moment where Lee had finally had it and he did the classic pro wrestling kind of your facial expression changes and you turn your head and you fire up. Yeah. He nailed that, man. I popped huge. Like you said, I was already high on Lee. I didn't know a whole lot about. I knew of him, but I hadn't seen very much from him before he came to AEW. I was already impressed, but tonight was just. He definitely belongs in the conversation of, and I think we had him there anyway, but of that next generation, which sounds weird to say because they've already got one generation that feels like a next generation, and they got another one right behind them. Right. Yeah, he came off incredible here.
We've been pretty consistent, right, Shoot? You and I think Oracle, I don't know if we've talked about this for you, Oracle, but we've been pretty consistent of like, whatever you think mechanically, it feels like he has the highest ceiling of that group.
He's special.
And I think the way he's getting over suggests as much, honestly, because I think Garcia is fabulous and a great, great pro, and he's going to be, he's already one of the better wrestlers out there, but in a few years, he'll be like extraordinary. But he hasn't connected with live crowds the way Lee has. He just hasn't, and that's fine, right? That's what to be expected. But
Lee jumps off the screen in a way that Yuta and Garcia do not yet. And that's not even a shot at those two. No. Lee's just got something. We've even seen it in those little promos he's doing in Universal.
Yep.
Like he's, it's hard. You always talk about it, and it's so hard to quantify, but you can see it. He jumps off the screen.
Absolutely does. Oracle, your thoughts on this one, my friend?
I think I guess it's not a simple answer, but I think the most simple answer is that Lee's actually just more charismatic than those two.
Yeah.
And when you have a natural charisma, it always helps.
There you go.
Oh wow! Look at that. I didn't even read it. I know.
I saw it come up when you were talking. I was like, wow.
That's actually me going through the chat and. Okay. This was great. I definitely agree with your comment, Joe, about how Danielson didn't give him too much, but he also gave him enough to make Lee credible and tough, which is very important. It's also hard to do, but it's Bryan Danielson, and Lee Moriarty is credible enough to throw good strikes in there. Some of those, I mean, just look at Danielson's ears after the match. Those forearms that he threw, I mean, Brian's ears were bright red. He connected with his elbows on those forearms.
I think he was calling him on pretty good. I'm going to rewatch it at some point, but I got the sense that Danielson, after a couple of them, was like, "You can do more than that."
Just lay it in. Don't worry if I have a seizure. I'll just pretend like I won't. But.
This is a good point too. This is such a little thing. It was both to the new tune, but I also think he was it was to him conveying that he was focused.
He was
selling. He wasn't going to do his full, and that's the little stuff that I love. He didn't need to do it. He didn't come out and do his foot stomp and take 4 minutes to get to the ring to save someone. Like, it's important to convey the story that you're.
Hang on, was that a Rhea Ripley shot?
That was, that wasn't her fault. She was told to do that, but
wow. Okay.
Wow.
There's no need for that on this night of all nights. Australia forever, brother.
That was vengeance from my earlier tweet where I trolled you.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I'm in the middle on this one, but fair. Australia. What else was we doing? We done with this?
I was just rambling on about the match. But yeah, it was a great match, great finish. I
want to give some love to Tony, who sent us some Just an incredible, nice donation here.
Tony
He does
Khan?
not have a comment. He does
Tony
not have a
Khan?
comment. It is Tony Khan. Yes, Tony. If you're in the chat and you meant to leave a comment and it didn't work or whatever, because I'm told that happens sometimes, please put it and we will all keep our eyes out for it. Thank you very much. Seriously, we appreciate it. Okay, we had the post-match segment here with Mox. Good Lord, man. Mox's physical presence and charisma. So he cuts this incredible promo. And this was a moment for me. And I don't want to make this a show about what could be rather than what was, because it was one of the best shows they've ever done. We've already said that. But when I talk about like big-time programs, do you see how this feels when these two dudes are in the ring together, man? Like, this is... I don't like living in the past, but this feels like a big-time angle, a big-time program of yesteryear. You know, a different time when dudes felt like big stars. These guys feel fucking invincible in there, man. And Mox is cutting these great promos. And Danielson is, I mean, it's incredible. It's a great program they're doing here. I'm intrigued where it goes next. Obviously, we're going to get the match, but the step after that is going to be very exciting. Shoot, your thoughts on the segment.
I genuinely believe that Jon Moxley still does not get enough credit for how big of a star he is.
Agreed, yeah.
I could make a case. I'm not sure how strong of a case it is, but I could make a case that he's the biggest star in professional wrestling right now.
He's awesome.
At least in terms of presence and just everything, honestly. I don't know, I'm sure there's people who will tell me the numbers don't back that up, and that's fine, but eye test, man, he feels like the biggest star in the world right now. And I include Hangman in that, and I love Hangman, but Moxley's just...
Takes a few years to get that level of...
feels
different, bro.
This is not a shot at anybody, but I saw a tweet that said Cody was the heart and soul of AEW. And maybe he was, like, not the TV product, though. Jon Moxley's the heart and soul of AEW as far as the TV product. I don't even think it's debatable. But anyway, this segment was so good. They have managed to create a scenario where I think the crowd's going to be happy either way.
Yes.
And I think it's entirely possible we're going to get both. They're going to beat the shit out of each other, and then they're still going to team. I think there's a real chance they're going to pull the trigger on this.
I do too. Especially because now they've found a way where they can get a match and do that.
Yeah.
Get the best of both worlds.
You don't have to turn Moxley heel because he and Bryan can just kind of walk that line of, they'll just do whatever the hell they want to do.
You mentioned it a week ago, and I know everyone's going to roll their eyes because I'm bringing him up, but if they do that angle, there's a point where Kingston gets involved and it becomes even more compelling. That's a natural fit.
Yeah. Because like the chat just said, he's preoccupied right now, but sooner or later, he's going to notice.
What about November? He's going to be away from Jericho.
Yeah.
I quickly want to say this popped me. Good job, man. Tony says he did not have a comment. He just want to give us some money. We appreciate it, man. I see you always hitting the retweet on our shit. We very much appreciate the love. Thank you. Oracle, your thoughts on the segment?
Oh, this was amazing. I always like when Mox does this weird thing when he gets the microphone,
Yeah. Only he can do it too. Like anyone else, it would be weird, but for him, it's perfect.
Right.
Very Terry Funk. That's very Terry Funk, man.
Yes, and he's clearly a Funk fan because I don't think that segment they did years ago where Funk gave him the thing. I don't think that was. Yeah, that was he's clearly a Funk fan. So, but yeah, this was great stuff, man. This promo, good Lord, was this a promo? I mean, the way he turned it, and was like, well, what if it's just that you're too afraid to fight me, and it's just fucking ruled, man. I'm hoping that Shoot's correct and that they do the deal where they just beat the living shit out of each other, and then team up.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: you have to be a little bit careful, and don't want to go into Starrcade 85, Starrcade 86 territory, where every match is a bloodbath.
Well, if you're saying
it would
that,
pop me, even though it would pop me, I still think you need to be careful
listen,
about.
man, it's like $40. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Bleed.
you're right. That's $50, man.
50.
Isn't it 50, or maybe it is 40? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It's 50.
Yeah, I thought
That's
it was
a different
50.
price point here. Anyway, carry
on. Yeah, it's America.
So, what do you think the chances are that the play here is that Moxley's going to beat Danielson and then Danielson's not going to want to do it anymore?
Oh, that would be incredible.
I think that could be what they do.
That would rule.
I honestly think the finish is... I think the finish could very well be Danielson with his actual first protege. It wouldn't surprise me if Garcia's off TV for these next few weeks. I think he's in play for that role. I kind of think Danielson should win this match. And I don't know if that's like a hot take, but I kind of feel he should win here. And I think it's easier to book a finish that protects Mox than the other way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Danielson needs a signature win. He's bulletproof, but at the same time, I think he needs because I mean Mox is bulletproof too.
And Mox is the baby face. You can get some sympathy on him, however you want to do. I don't know, but then I also like the idea of Mox just beating him and being like, well, I guess let's do this thing, and they just do it.
I like that.
I don't know. That's the beauty.
So many things you could do,
and that's why it's good, right? It doesn't, I'm all for just like formulate. This is our pay-per-view card. Let's get there in a nice, steady fashion. But these are the kind of angles that I think show growth as a booker for a Tony Khan. Because this is different and it's interesting.
And again, I don't think this is something they would do, but you could even do a double turn.
Oh my God.
Where Garcia and Yuta, of course, Yuta would be interesting because he hasn't really, but whoever, they help Moxley beat Danielson and Moxley just says, we don't need you. And they can do anything. They could do anything here.
There's definitely something to Danielson hanging it over Mox's head that he can't beat him,
Yeah.
That's good. That's the perfect kind of fit for a character like Danielson. He could be great with that. So there's no rush for this one, folks. This is a 6-month program you got here. And if you go the faction route, it isn't a program. It becomes the overarching plot of the fucking promotion. It's that big of a deal, right? So
I think they should pull the trigger on it. I really do.
It'll be really interesting. It's a great angle. I'm fascinated to see where it goes next. Keith Lee promo up next. This was just pretty standard, right? Any quick thoughts on this one, guys?
I thought it was good.
There you go.
Solid.
He's always interesting, his promos, Keith, Just interesting. I think he's like, he has his own style, which is good. And depending on the content, I can never decide whether I like it or not.
I think it's going to work really well in these pre-tapes.
Yes.
Now, the other ones we'll see, but I think it's going to work well here.
Are you saying it's better that he doesn't do 12-minute in-ring promo segments?
I think it's better that almost anyone doesn't do those.
Fair. Okay. Wardlow, Max Caster. This was one I was a little bit worried about in terms of production. I feared they were going to give Max too much, and I'm delighted to say this was produced just about perfectly. The meat of the match was in the ad break. I'm assuming for you guys, right? Because they came back from the break with the chain spot, which got a genuine pop on the false finish. The place exploded on the 2, and Wardlow kicked out late enough that I think everyone in the world for a split second was like, "Oh my God!"
I was, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. And then, of course, he just rallies and kicks the shit out of Max. And look, folks, we've debated the Acclaimed. We did a Warrior Wrestling review on Monday, and I actually said I was very impressed by those guys. But some must die so others can live. And this was not the time to do a 12-minute match with a nice 8-minute heat segment.
Yep.
This was perfect. This was, this to me is growth. This whole Wardlow thing is something that genuinely 6 months ago, I don't think would have been on their TV. There was a while there where they wouldn't have done. He's had 8 emphatic TV wins at this point where he has just beat guys with his finish.
He feels like a massive star right now.
It's working. It's going to be a test when he has to have a long match, but right now, it's working tremendously. Whole thing was a hit. Shoot, go ahead.
It's going to sound like a bit coming from me, but I genuinely mean it. Spears is fucking fantastic the way they're using him right now. Him not helping Wardlow and then immediately coming in when he didn't need help anymore with the chairs. Like it's like even Spears is the one who set up the spot with the chain.
Did you notice, shoot, that when Caster did his line about Wardlow being MJF's bitch, Spears is like, oh, did you see that?
I didn't see that.
You, like, I keep harping on it because, like, I keep seeing people say it. He's in the perfect role for him. Mm-hmm. He is a role player, and this is a perfect role for him. And when Wardlow does turn, the first thing he's going to do is beat the shit out of Shawn Spears before he ever gets to MJF.
Pinnacle are not going to care either, which is going to make it even
better. That's the bit.
Yeah, it's going to roll. Good.
Yeah, like Spears wearing the Predators jersey to try to do the babyface thing, and then he just took it off and threw it on the ground because, of course, he did. Yeah, this was awesome. They're nailing the Wardlow thing right now.
It's getting over huge.
We still don't know 100% for sure that Wardlow is going to be able to back it up at the end, like you said, when he has longer matches.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be okay. Personally, I've seen a lot of things that make me think he's going to be fine. But yeah, it's really fun, and the crowd is into it, man.
I don't actually have, like, I said it, and I kind of was thinking about it when you started. Like, I don't have concerns so much about his performance as much as like how those matches are produced. Because as a babyface, that will be like kind of challenging sometimes, right? It'll be interesting. Like him and MJF doesn't worry me, but like the normal TV matches will be an interesting thing because I think they should probably never leave this formula because it works so well. So there you go.
This is, guys.
Oh God, there you go. Who could that babyface be, guys?
Jungle Boy.
Wardlow?
Buddy Matthews?
Well, I think we know what Buddy's doing now.
MLW?
This is factual right here. This is accurate.
There you go. Nailed it. Oracle, your thoughts on another Wardlow win?
Yeah, I thought they rode right up the line. I don't think it was... I was a little worried they were going to give Caster too much, and he was getting offense, and I was like, And then right when... And then they did it just like you said. Right when I was like, okay, they did the false finish. I was like, okay, they did the false finish. Wardlow powerbombs him, takes care of a claim by himself. So even if there was a thought that maybe that he got too much offense on him, didn't matter. He beat the shit out of a tag team all by himself after a match. So I mean, it was very well. It was very well done. He's super over. Ever since that Punk match, they've capitalized on this extremely well, and when he turns, I mean, it's gonna be a super big deal.
Can't wait to see what that looks like and how big that feels, because I agree, it feels like it's going to be a major angle for them.
They got to make sure they don't wait too long, but we're not there yet.
No,
it's very smart to keep him away from MJF a little bit.
Exactly that.
So you can kind of stretch it out.
We had a Britt promo. She was, Mercedes Martinez was getting fired up and all that good stuff, and the guy from Karate Kid came in.
Yeah, this was a little weird. I mean, I was fine with it, but it was a little weird.
So Cobra Kai is the most fun show on television, not the best show on television, but the most fun show on television.
So I have seen the Karate Kid. I've not seen Cobra Kai, so I did not know who this gentleman was initially. But then I was going to tweet that, and everyone was getting insulted for not knowing who he was. So I was like, "Get that one quite shoot." Did you know? Did you pump your fist?
I knew who he was. Okay. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but I've seen enough of like little videos and trailers, and then he did a video with Britt a while back. They met each other on the like convention stuff because she does a ton of those.
The execution was really like fascinating the way they did it.
The elite Twitter account that is the Tape Machines account.
Oh, God bless.
Was very hammering home the point that like, does this guy actually think he's the guy from Cobra Kai?
I hope so. That would rule.
That part of it didn't make any sense.
Brucey Beats has a great comment though, and it's true.
Yes.
Yeah. There's like face turns and heel turns and shit. It's amazing.
Hang on a second. Do you know what famous podcaster has said that many times on the air? Bruce Pritchard. Brucey beats, huh?
Wait, about Cobra Kai?
Interesting.
Hey, man, we're on to you.
Hey, Bruce, how are you, buddy?
I mean, that tracks, right?
I'm
he
surprised
does
he's here since Bob's not on.
Incredible. Oracle, anything on this quick promo segment here with the DMD and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut. By way of Houston, by chance.
It is so much better that Good Brother doesn't have a picture too, because it allows it to be even funnier.
I hope he's okay with us just thinking he's Bruce Pritchard from now on.
Yeah, it kind of seems insulting upon fault. Tell us if you want us to stop doing that. Oracle, anything on this promo segment?
This was good. This was good. I was fine with it. I like Cobra Kai, so it popped me. The ringside moment later on is a little bit more ridiculous, I think. Than this was,
yeah. To me, I want to be clear. It's ridiculous, but it's pro wrestling ridiculous, so I'm fine with it.
If anyone was mad about it, right?
Yeah,
surely.
It's definitely dumb, but who cares?
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oracle, did you notice Jamie Hayter in this segment?
Her facial
expressions, mocking everything.
Yes.
God, it was awesome.
Yeah,
she's been really good at that now for a
yes.
while. So Hangman going to do an interview, and they showed this graphic of like Hangman up next, and the place just exploded. And I was like, man, this is one hell of a crowd. And then he starts talking, and Adam Cole, they do the thing where rather than his music playing, you just heard him talking, and then he appeared on the stage. He walked out. And when he walked out, the place erupted.
Yeah.
It was like they thought a good wrestler was coming out. But Adam Cole came out, and he walked to the ring, and they went they went head to head here, and they did a nice promo. So no one could ever accuse Adam Cole of not being a good promo. I'm messing. It was a really strong segment.
He's not messing, to be clear. He means that.
Oh, I do mean it, but like
Oracle.
Hang on. Can I just have one key point, and then you can.
Okay.
Go. That dude's right hand.
Yeah.
Did you, bro? That has to be performance art, right?
Yeah, that was something.
Did you see it, Oracle?
Yeah. Somebody, one of our Twitter mutuals said, did he just change a flat tire?
That's a great one,
bro. This was. If you're in the chat, you don't know what we're talking about. Go back and watch this. It will take you like a second to pop when you see. Just look at the man's. It was bonkers. It made MJF look like me. It was nuts. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
I was just gonna tell Oracle that Cole made his entrance, and I got a text from Joe talking about how beautiful Adam Cole's eyes were, and I was very, very thrown off by it. I mean, I noticed it. He's not wrong, but yeah, that guy's got some striking blue eyes.
I tweeted about a guy being beautiful tonight. It was not Adam Cole though.
Yeah, it was Andrade, which is also true.
He looked didn't he look great tonight, huh?
Apparently the spray tan thing's a BTE bit. Of course it is. Whatever, man.
To be clear, I should have mentioned the segment was really good, and then they set up the Undisputed Era attack or whatever they're called now. And Dark ordered a save, and 10 and if you watch AEW and 10 started throwing those guys, and your immediate reaction wasn't, oh, 10's wrestling Adam Cole on Rampage. Yeah. You don't watch enough AEW, folks. And that was good.
They sold it great, too.
Thoughts on the segment, shoot?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, I like Adam Cole more than you guys do. But even without that, I thought this was very well done. Like I told you, Joe, I think not playing his music on his initial entrance was very smart. To not make him try to lessen him looking like a massive babyface against Hangman Adam Page. I thought this was really good. I thought they did a good job of like, you didn't know for sure that Red Dragon was coming. Like it kind of felt like the segment was over, and then here they came. Yeah, I really like this. I'm excited for this match. I know I'm the only one here that is, but I think it's going to be tremendous.
I mean, I think it will be good. Hangman's got my full faith at this point. Oracle, your thoughts on the very tanned man and he's promo here?
Yeah, he's a good promo.
He is.
I think he, got people hyped into the match. The crowd was great again. Hangman was excellent. The beatdown, of course, was well done. The match itself, I mean, they're probably going to go like 25 or 30, and I'm not going to love it.
Right.
I don't think I will love it. I got to get better at that. Deciding I'm going to dislike something before it happens. But we'll see. I think they can have a great match. I've said last week. I think Hangman Adam Page is the number one in-ring worker in the entire year in AEW so far, first 2 months. So I have confidence in him. Cole's not terrible or anything. He's just, I find him boring.
Yeah.
And kind of one note. But I'm hopeful that these guys can mesh well together. They're obviously friends. They obviously have wrestled each other many times before, if I'm not mistaken. So,
many matches I'm sure you wouldn't have liked.
Oh, I'm sure I would have just.
I can't actually remember seeing them wrestle, but I'm certain it happened because they're in the same place for so long. I know what this is going to be. Yep. Okay. I love this game, folks. I love this game because I can see different things to what you can see, and it's just great. Anyway, we had a really good Sammy Guevara Darby Allin video package. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This took probably 30 seconds to a minute. It adds gravity to the main event. Keep doing it when you have a match worthwhile. This is obviously one of those. Punk and MJF was an even better example. Tiny little thing that I think adds some kind of structure to the show and allows it to flow better. Only a little thing I thought was very well done. We've talked about it consistently, right, guys? Like, just put a little piece in there. Put a little piece in there that makes the main event feel like the main event, which was harder to do when Danielson was opening the show against Hangman, but that is what it is, right? Okay, the Inner Circle match here. And I think everyone expected King in this deal, right? I think everyone expected he would probably be involved. And I was like, how do you do this finish? Because you don't really want King to help, because that would be heelish. But then, like, him running down, it all felt, I was like, what are they going to do? Well, it was obvious what you do, right? You just play his music, have him walk out to a fucking monster reaction. The place
just... my fist, yeah.
Dude, they came up.
JR popped big for him, too. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember our friend Tape Machines, we're giving him a lot of love today. At Tape Machines, the best. But he said this before, and he's so right. Like, you can tell what the guys at JR is actually into, and King is 100% on that list, right?
Yeah.
Like, people overstate the guys he hates, but you can tell the ones he really likes. And that reaction tonight was another example. It was great.
And it's hilarious. Just think about how hilarious that actually is. That Eddie Kingston's a Jim Ross guy.
Brother, this was Nashville. Did you hear them people for King?
Yeah, man.
He's one of the most over guys. He's a heart and soul guy, right? Like, anyway. So the match gets underway. Santana's intensity was great. They had a couple miscommunications early, and I was like, this is not quite clicked. Then when they settled into the heat on Ortiz and they got to Santana's hot tag, they went into this finishing stretch. And like, not only was it good, but more than that, and almost more telling, the place just started fucking exploding, right? Like, it was nuts. The heat all of a sudden was crazy. The bit that was really obvious was one of the big near falls on Jericho. I think it was the street sweeper.
Yeah.
That's the deal. The place popped huge fan, and there was a lot of fans that loved Jericho, so it made it a really interesting atmosphere. When Jericho had the walls,
they lost their minds.
That was a fucking moment when Santana was crawling towards the bottom rope, wasn't it? That was like, the place was alive, man. Yeah, and the finish, I think there's definitely something to be said for Santana and Ortiz switching the street sweeper as their false finish with this lariat thing they're doing recently. But I think in this particular case, it made sense to be like a stunned finish, right? Like, he was distracted, boom, hit him, pinned him. Obviously, there's slight things I'd tweak, but like, Jericho got pinned by Santana and Ortiz, and I thought the match was really good. And Eddie Kingston's back. I ain't got, I really have no complaints. And I'll say, and I've been pretty consistent on this, I thought this angle showed some life about a month ago. I think this is like actual good pro wrestling TV at this point. Is it perfect? No. But you're seeing Jericho, man, like, this is going to sound nuts, and I know how ridiculous this sentence sounds. This feud with Eddie Kingston's important to Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And he's talked about it, and he's getting himself in better shape, and he looks like he's switched on. I thought this was a hit. Oracle, what do you think?
Yeah, this was really good. Man, this crowd was great. Well, I mean, they were so good.
Yep.
I'm hopeful for like the Columbia crowd coming up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
These new cities are
Yeah, the Columbia one's interesting because that's not really a WWE goes there sometimes, right? But not.
Yeah. They usually go to Charleston more.
Yeah.
For TV.
They're in Connecticut next week, which is interesting.
Yeah, that will be. I think that'll be a hot crowd too.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations to Brucey Beats.
Back. That's the big debut of the Australian Nightmare, Bud Matthews.
Yeah, this was good. That finishing stretch was awesome. The false finishes are really good.
Folks, those of you who don't know, because I know not all of you are on the Patreon side of things, Shoot also has access to the same things I do, so we both hit Brucey Beats comment at the same time, and it took it off the screen, which was tremendous. Carry on, Oracle, I'm sure. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm interested what they're gonna do in terms of I don't know, like, do we think we get Jericho Kingston at Revolution, or do we get some sort of tag match, or what?
I think we get the singles, and this is going to get mixed reactions, I know, but I'm confident in especially Eddie. I think it will be very much just the start of a pretty extensive program. I think it's pretty obvious based on tonight's result that Jericho is going to get step one of this as the heel.
He's going to win.
And I think that match will be his turn, so to speak, and he will hang it over Eddie's head that he can't win the big one. And then, you drive that point home until it's time for Eddie to win the big one, and you do it there. That's what I think they're going for. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I thought before there was a chance to do a 6-man with Sammy, but it feels like Sammy's got his own shit to do now, man. But I don't know. That's just me.
I agree. Jericho looked great here. Like, he really did.
Good shape, man. He looked physically as good as he's looked in a while. Really did.
Like, I think some of the weight loss is probably from him getting sick, but he's definitely he's got muscle definition too. So
made me feel really bad.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously though, it's not just the spot where he caught Santana and then put him in the walls. That was tremendous, man.
Yeah, it was a great spot.
I've said all along. I think couldn't be more sure of a Jericho match being good than this Eddie match. Like, it'll be paced perfectly for older Chris, Yeah. Like, he'll have no reason to wrestle like a cruiserweight. They can just hit each other. And, like, it may look ugly at times, but I think it's going to pop us. And I think people are going to bleed, Oracle. Anyway, we have a Super Grin here. I'm going to get that URL at some point, supergrin.com as a pop. So people can go straight to this. But anyway, you can do it at streamlabs.com/late night grin. Jacob sends in, he says, use this money to help buy some House of Black, Kings of the Black Throne lore merch. LNG taking over. I want to be quite frank in saying, Jacob, that while we appreciate your donation, we are not quite at that point yet. I will pretend to like the segments. Merchandise is probably a few weeks away. Give me some time, but I will use it when the time comes. Thank you very much, Jacob. We seriously do appreciate it. Streamlabs.com/late night grin to support the show. Anyway, it's coming up, folks. But first, we've got to do this Undisputed Era Elite thing, promo. Did this promo make it too obvious they're going to win the Battle Royals? Or just simple storytelling?
I'm still not sure they're going to both win. Right. So I think it's very possible only one of them wins.
Me too. But what makes that weird is it feels like the team that wouldn't win is the Bucks, and it feels like they're more likely to be on the pay-per-view card.
What if it's Mox and
my God. Excalibur said that tonight, but that was interesting.
I'm still very I think it's very much in play that the Bucks are going to cost Adam Cole the match with Hangman, whether intentionally or not.
No, I think that's happening, yeah.
So I think that may be how the Bucks get on the show.
I think the Bucks are going to be baby faces here shortly. Guys,
yes, I agree.
With Kenny. And I know that's going to cause some, and I kind of get it because they are much more compelling as characters as heels, but
the people
if you just look at what the story is, it feels like they should be baby faces with Kenny, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oracle, any thoughts on this big promo segment here with much bickering about kids? You see Jack Crosby, that piece of shit, he tweeted, I laughed so much at the jokes about them being fathers.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking family man bootlicker. Oracle, thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, I feel like they telegraph both winning, so maybe there's like a twist there where like the other team gets tossed for one reason or another. Definitely, I feel like definitely one's going to win. But the second one, I'm not so sure about. It also wouldn't shock me if they both just won.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
which is fine. Like you don't have to always put.
It would make sense in a lot of ways, right?
Right.
It would, because as you mentioned, there's no story to the tag title reign right now, and they have nothing. There's definitely a story with those two teams. So,
and like someone in the chat said, that's the perfect way for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to retain.
Yes, and then you can pick. You can go House of the Black. You can do that deal, Kings of the Black Throne, or you can do Santana and Ortiz. But you give yourself more time because that doesn't feel like this pay-per-view cycle, right? I actually think Santana and Ortiz could be in that match. Actually, now I think about it, but
this would be interesting too. Like someone in the chat pointed out, I think they're right. I don't think there was a Joker the last time they did a tag team casino battle royal, but it's still possible they could do it. I think it's going to be the same teams in both.
Hey guys, which of Buddy Matthews' famed tag team partners through the years would you rather see in AEW? Tyler Black or Wesley Blake?
Wesley Blake.
Agreed.
By far.
Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa in a no DQ match. This was just about exactly what I was looking for. It was ugly. People were falling down. Tables weren't breaking. Thunder Rosa did a dive off the stand and looked like she was going to fall down. It was incredible. There was a very scary barricade spot, which I think was intentional, where the barricade just took a flat back bump, which scared the shit out of me. The spider German suplex was terrifying. And if that weren't enough, Mercedes followed up with an elbow drop that went directly into the throat of Thunder Rosa, which felt like just purely a pop for violence. Afterwards, they did the respect stuff and the angle, which we'll talk about separately. But this first start with the match, they brought the violence oracle. This felt like something you'd enjoy, my friend.
They did. And, this is an example of one of those matches where, it's an ODQ match and you don't have to, and the thing is, you don't have to do blood every week. But you have to be violent and you have to do stuff that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Mercedes started throwing her great right hands, and then she took a bump into the barricade, and Thunder Rosa had some guy help her and be like, she literally went to the fan and was like, can you help me up? And like, listen, I'm not saying no to Thunder Rosa. So,
she's so intense, man.
Yeah.
She's so intense.
And oh god, the friggin' running drop kick spot with the trash can.
Yeah.
Just the force she put behind that, because in her head, well, she's got a trash can to protect her, so I'll just go even more hard on my drop kick than I normally do. Yeah, sure, why not, Rosa? And she goes and just kicks her head off, and the fisherman buster off where they just slid down the broken half broken table
awesome.
like a slide. That ruled. This match ruled. This match ruled. Mercedes elbow to the throat, which looked awful. Oh, that looked like it hurt.
She fell there, right? Like,
dude, she's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
She's just got she's got a toughness.
She did fall,
man.
yeah.
She's got a toughness.
Which that's fine. This match ruled, man. Like, and the fucking finisher, like that move sometimes looks like it hurts both people.
Yeah.
But the way that Mercedes' head landed looks so fucking brutal. Looked like she landed like face first on the chip.
The way she sold it too, like post bump, was so awesome.
Yeah. Great match. This was really good. We've
talked about this before, and how for some of the strides that we've seen in the women's division, it's been really frustrating to see the lack of reaction. You don't have to worry about that with Thunder Rosa.
No.
Those people fucking love her, man. She's got a good push, and she never gets it's not like she's someone that gets beat often, right? Never clean. I mean, she's ever lost clean in the promotion, other than the first match she had with Sheeta before she was signed. But she's honestly more over than her push, which is saying something considering what I just
she's
said.
Over everywhere. I mean, did you see the pop she got at GCW?
She's very much. I know this is like the dumbest thing ever, but she's just one of those wrestlers that wrestling fans just like. It's plain and simple. Wherever you go, wrestling fans just think she's fucking awesome because she is. Shoot your fools.
She's one of the top baby faces in pro wrestling right now.
Yeah.
She's someone that anytime she's going to be on the show, you look forward to it. And that even includes the C shows.
Yes.
She's just tremendous, man, and I really hope that she's just going to win the belt here.
She should.
It's going to be a mistake if they try to stretch it out. Just give her the belt. This ruled, man. Like, Mercedes Martinez is so good. It's really nice to see her getting this kind of...
She deserves it, man.
Yes. And I think it's very smart what they did with the post-match. I think there's people who will say it didn't make sense, but I don't agree with that. I think it makes total sense for them to come out of that respecting each other. And it's not like they hugged each other and became best friends. Like, they're going to be reluctant partners here, because I think we're definitely getting that tag match, which is going to be fucking awesome, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Jamie Hayter and Mercedes is beating the shit out of each other is going to rule, man. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm just repeating myself because I'm just saying everything was great, but everything was great. So
I think the big thing with the show of respect after is the idea that, at the end of the day, in fear of going too cinematic here after my day at the movie theater, guys, at the end of the day, Mercedes was just doing a job, right?
Yeah,
like she was a mercenary in that case. And I think Rosa could kind of respect where you swung pretty hard. I survived this time. It's all good. I get it. And the post-match execution of having Jamie, the way they shot that was really well done, I thought. Tag match is going to be great.
We had our hesitations about her at first because we hadn't seen it yet. She's very good. Like, we've already seen the work, but like the facial expressions and the body line, like, she's just tremendous.
Yeah, all four of these women are, they're major players this division. Oracle, looking forward to the tag match we're probably going to get here.
I am probably next week or in 2 weeks, maybe the week.
2 weeks, I would think.
Yeah. Maybe next week's Rampage, I could see.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's probably a good call. This is going to be a good one, man. I'm hoping we get Jamie and Mercedes. Part of me is like, you know what? Give them time on Dynamite in like 3 or 4 weeks, and let them just beat the hell out of each other in some like.
I could see that being the buy-in match.
I could too.
Yeah, I was thinking
that usually gets time
with the Serena D 5-minute challenge. Maybe they could do something neat with that.
Yeah, true.
Buy-in.
There's a lot of it's difficult because on nights like tonight, TV time actually feels premium. Yeah. So you can actually use that phrase and feel confident saying it. But there is a lot of stuff going on because you also have Layla and Chris.
Yeah.
And after the promo segment last Friday, I don't think you want that to be a throwaway. It's pretty heated.
They're gonna get either a Dynamite or Rampage spot, and they're gonna get 15, 20, something total.
And Sheeta's back in America already, so I don't think she's gonna be as gone. I thought she's gonna be gone longer than this. So that probably is coming soon. That payoff.
That's what I'm saying. The buy-in might be like, or they could do it already. Coming up on Rampage, but
they got to
have that be like a buy-in deal with her and Serena.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys think Jade's Revolution match is going to be one of the free agents? Like, it'll be an open challenge, and it'll be one of the four.
This is the part
four, right? The big four.
Yeah, I think.
Mia, Tony,
Nixon, and Athena, I guess, right?
Yeah. Nixon and Athena.
That feels like a spot for Nixon because she could lose.
Mm-hmm.
Of the four of them, she would probably be the one you want to lose first.
Right. It'd be interesting. It's very, it's a different spot. For someone like AQA, I think we can all agree that just being in that spot was a win for her, right? It's different with someone like Tony and Athena. I think you would kind of hesitate a little bit. So it'll be interesting what they do. So there you go. She probably won't be around for the next month then. So there you go.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense because they've just started the Serena 5-minute thing, and we assume she's probably the payoff for that. So
yeah.
Mia Yim would work in that spot for Jade too. Yeah.
I mean, to me, Mia and Nixon are a better fit for that than Athena and Tony, who I would not bring in on a loss. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Okay. It's time, boys. It's time for some lore. Malachi Black was doing this, and here's the thing about this, which ruled. There was not a second this thing was going on that I didn't know where we were going, and it popped me because I just knew, I knew where it was going to happen. But the way that, The way that they had the shot of him like walking in, and you could basically see him, but not really. Like the idea of these fucking goofs shooting this stuff pops me so much, man.
I am not exaggerating. I'm not joking. When you saw him, when he showed up on, and it was clearly him.
Yes.
I did this thing. Yeah. Popped huge, man. Like, oh my God.
Someone tweeted that.
God bless you guys, man.
Bro,
like,
it's just like the idea of Malachi like scheduling these like private just pops me so huge, you know. In all seriousness, this is the one thing I'll say. I am fascinated by how our guy fares in these segments because Brody talks, and if old Bud Matt starts talking and doing law, oh my God, this will be even funnier than we could ever imagine.
Hey man, he tweeted out, "Let me talk with a microphone."
Yes. Now the key is though, seriously, Bud Matt versus Pac, Bud Matt versus Phoenix, especially because it's just stylistically.
Yeah,
this is a really good spot for him. We do a lot of jokes. We have a lot of fun. We understand Bud's spot in this promotion. I don't know, Jacob. That's a good question.
I think the answer for that for me is yes, because I've always still kind of expected him to be in the House of Black.
He's been speculated as the third member for a long time.
Yeah.
I think, look, the big thing with this is we're not, I'm not a big Law guy. I think we've all had differing takes on it. I think we all agree he's been good in AEW, but like it's not my favorite thing in the promotion by any means. The matches are good. But I think we also are all very much aware that this is a really good spot for Buddy. And as the bumping guy that, takes the falls when necessary, because Brody and Malachi are not guys you want to pin.
Right.
I think he can kill it in that role. And I'm going to get a really good trios match at the pay-per-view. To put it simply.
These Malachi Black promos have popped me huge. Not in the way they're supposed to pop me huge, but they pop me huge. I think they're so ridiculous that I actually like them. And yeah, this is a great spot for Buddy. I'm very confident that we're going to see him next week. As soon as they announced that tag match, I was like, yes. I'd be fascinated to see what kind of reaction he gets, if any.
If
he gets a huge pop, man, we're going to victory lap again. Like,
yeah, man.
The lights go out and they come up, and there's Bud Matt, and he hits that curb stomp, and we just lose our minds. The good curb stomp.
Everyone in the crowd pulls out their Australian flags and shit.
Yes.
205 banners start appearing in the crowd.
God, like, what a time to be alive, guys.
Oracle, you look. I'm intrigued by your visual response to our grin here. You seem.
Well, he doesn't even think Buddy's good, so.
Quite frankly,
that's not true.
You seem ready to attack. Oracle. No. I'm going to be honest. You did lash out earlier. I'd like to comment on that a little bit. Go ahead.
No, I was trolling. I don't like Bud Matt as much as the two gentlemen here with me.
No one does.
But I do.
There's one other person that does.
I think he's a good worker. I think he'll do well in this role. I think he's the perfect guy to throw out there to have good matches, which is not a bad role to have.
Right.
Do not give him a microphone and let him start speaking in lore. That concerns me.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion. If you want to give him a shot, maybe he's good. But with the lore stuff, I don't think much of that's good.
I think there's a chance he can talk based on what people said about the PWG stuff, but the lore stuff feels like a different challenge.
Right? Yeah, that's
right.
tough. That's tough cooking right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is Phoenix healed up?
They're booked to wrestle the Briscoes here next month, so it looks like he's going to be back.
So we might get House of Black versus Death Triangle at the pay-per-view.
Oh, this is yes, I think so. This is such a great comment from Jason. Look at this, guys. I don't like Buddy as much as these two guys. Bud Matt's mum. I do need to reiterate something that I said earlier on the Victory Lap stream, which you can get at latenightgreen.com. It is free, so if you're not a patron, you can see it. It's just unlisted so that we could, protect ourselves some. I did say that if this goes well and it gets the reaction and the moment hits, I'm doing a 12-hour stream, boys. And 12 is the low end because there's a good chance I do 24, but it just depends how my day looks. But 12 feels like the minimum in tribute of the Australian the Australian nightmare.
And in that stream, you watch every 205 live Buddy Murphy match.
It'll be interesting what I actually do, because I'm going to be honest, I've said this idea many times without thinking past the idea of just doing it. So we've definitely fascinating when I hit like hour 2 to be like, well, what do we do here then, guys?
Joe, I just ordered a 25-pack of Australian flags on a stick.
Oh my God.
Did you just do that
from
right
Amazon.
now?
Oh,
did you just do this?
Yeah, just now we were doing this, yeah.
Oh my God.
Amazing. Doesn't get any better than this, folks. All right. Jay White cut a promo. I really like Jay White as a promo. I know we've done a lot of bits about Jay because of this piece of shit. Let me pull up his look.
Wait, Jay White cut a promo? I don't remember this.
Look at this piece of shit here. Crosby. He was grinning wide. Yeah, he did a promo and he said he talks about Bullet Club and he did like a DMD thing at the end.
Oh, I might have been in the restroom.
Okay. You were so excited about Bud, Matt, you left the room?
Maybe.
He said to breathe with the switchblade.
That's his thing, yeah. Did you pump your fist for this shoot?
It's fine.
Okay. All right. Let's give an interesting night on Friday. If Jack shows up, it's going to be a bloodbath. Okay. Sammy and Darby main event, red hot crowd, big time testament to the job they've done with these pillars, right? Like how over these guys feel. It tells you a lot about the booking and how it's worked. They kind of got underway with like a babyface match and the traditional opening, and then of course it quickly left tradition because it's Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, and he took that hellacious bump on the buckle. There was some absurd bumps here, and eventually they did deal with Sammy's knee being like a way to shift momentum. They got into some wild false finishes. There was an incredible dive into the cutter deal on the floor, which looked
that was
spectacular.
awesome.
And then Andrade came down looking as no other professional wrestler can look. Looks extraordinary. And he cost Darby the match. There was a very funny post-match segment that really felt like the icing on our cake here, which we'll get into. But first, the match. Oracle, you're a big fan of Darby in ring, not so much Sammy. How did the balance work for you here?
It worked well. I thought it was a great match. It took crazy bumps. Timed that cutter spot really well. I really liked the meat of the match where Darby worked over Sammy's knee. This was great.
It was really striking shit. You text me about it. I mean, you had a particular slant on it we don't need to get into here necessarily unless you want to. But
no, I'm going to get into it.
Okay, the overness of these guys was, my God. Go ahead.
So there are people who don't watch this show who act like these two aren't a big deal. Right. And there's other reasons for that, and that part I'm not going to go into, but they're clearly massive stars to this audience. And tonight really hammered that home. And these two feel like guys who are going to be feuding with each other for years and years. Like the chemistry, like David just said in the chat, their chemistry together is incredible. Yeah. I love this match. Which again, theme of the night, but yeah, this was great. Like I can watch these two work together forever. But Sammy does need to lose the 2 belts. That shit's really stupid.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Joe fell asleep there for about 5 seconds.
That was funny. It looked like Max Headroom where they kind of bounces around.
I did the freeze deal where I go, uh-oh. Yeah. I never know how much you can hear of that because I never watched the show back because I'm a fucking mark for myself. Speaking of marks, Matt Hardy came out here. I love Matt. He came down and I chuckled in a dangerous fashion. Like I really erupted in laughter. And then he started throwing these punches, right? And he was in this particular position where he was kneeling. And we know Matt has those very unique knees, right? God bless him.
That's one way to put it.
He looked sort of. There was something quite spectacular about the form he took here as he laid in these strikes. Am I wrong here, guys? There was something.
You're right.
He almost looked like a tarantula over the top of him. He was throwing these punches, and I was just popping at every turn. And then Sammy got back in, and he got out of there it was incredible. He sort of slivered out almost. It was
the best part was when he came running out. I was like, "What the fuck is he doing here?" Because it just, and then it all clicked again that they were aligned right now. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
It was so funny, the idea that he was finally a chance to fucking do something, something that can go well. And then he stood next to Andrade, and this is not an insult. I honestly love Matt. I've been complimentary of almost his whole run. It makes Andrade look so much cooler when Matt's standing next to him because Matt is doing like full wrestling shtick. Like he's doing like the facials and the fucking. And Andrade is just money. He's standing there, the coolest guy in the world. Look, I'll be honest. If you're in the chat and you thought this post match was unnecessary, I understand. I cannot tell you how much this popped me in every in every which way. But I understand I come at this from a unique perspective. Much like
I hope
Matt's
Andrade keeps the belts. I love that angle where the champ, they steal the champ's belts. I love it.
It kind of feels like he should just win them, though, right?
Oh, he should. Yes.
Yeah, he should literally keep them.
Like, what was it when Jinder stole the title and was like waving it into when that
on the car? Yeah.
He has the limo and he holds the.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Is this my Matt Hardy grins taking over, making me maybe?
It was very funny. It was very funny. I enjoyed it because Matt's just like. I think Matt's actually a really smart wrestling man. I think he knew to play it over the top.
Yes, he
is. Because
it's
it's a way to get Andrade more over. I think he's doing it on purpose. And so I think, this was, I enjoyed the post match as well.
I can't stress enough, guys. I really do recommend Matt's appearance on the Unrestricted podcast. You really get an idea of just how kind of cerebral he is as a wrestling mind because he pretty openly talks about his kind of process of figuring out what that audience wants from him, and it's really interesting. I recommend, I think Matt gets a lot of stick now from guys that don't watch the show, but if you watch what he actually brings to AEW, I really think in this last year they've only overstepped their bounds with him maybe once or twice. I remember the Rampage main event of Orange being a bit like, oh god, and he shouldn't have won that. Other than that, I honestly don't think he's let them down. I think he's good TV whenever they use him.
He's mostly been an asset for sure.
Right. Shoot, anything else on this post-match segment?
No, it was great. I hope Andrade destroys the second belt.
Oh, there you go.
And then just is like, why is there two belts or something? Like in the delivery that only he can do.
Actual.
Andrade's becoming like an actual tremendous promo in a unique way. And then only they would let him do that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Great. Andrade's great.
I vividly remember us saying, like, he's a guy you have to let wrestle to get over, and we were wrong about that.
Yeah.
Like, it took a while, but he's definitely getting more over doing the shtick he's doing on TV.
He just looks like a star, man. Like,
yeah, he's like genuine. He has one of the most money appearances, and visually, he's incredible.
This is a good comment too. Jose, he's very good in his role.
Yeah, it's just nuts that that's the guy that's eventually going to stick with Andrade as his second. Like, the guy that doesn't talk for him at all. It's interesting. Usually on these review shows, there you go. Sells it, Bud Matt. Usually on these review shows, we rate the show at the end. Chat, put your rating, out of 10 for Dynamite tonight. I'm going to just lead here. I said I think it may be the best episode I've ever done. I'm at 10. I literally have no complaints. I actually thought it was noticeably better than last week, which I think I gave basically the full marks anyway. Last week, I thought, the block in the second hour where they went Serena after Jade, I thought was a little clunky.
Yeah.
No such fault here, I thought. I thought this was the full mark. I thought this was absolutely spectacular. Shoot, you on board with me there?
10, yeah.
Oracle, where are you at on this one? I'm really intrigued by this rating.
I'm giving about a 9.25 or so.
God bless. God, I knew we were going to get a point, something or another. Yeah. I think what may have put us over the top, Oracle, is Bud Matt. But if you look at the chat, it's 9s and it's 10s.
Yeah.
I honestly think, and I'm going to watch it back tomorrow with Papa Holbert, and I'm going to see what he pops for and such, but I really think it may be as complete a program as they've ever produced. Yeah. We've said this before, and it's worth reiterating. There's a whole lot to talk about the variety show in wrestling, right? That idea. How poorly executed that has so often been in mainstream wrestling. When AEW is great, there is something that every person that considers themselves a wrestling fan in the world can get something out of. If you like the old school, you'd have popped for CM Punk's promo, for John Moxley's promo. If you like that modern in-ring thriller, the main event was perfect for you. If you like the mid-2000s Ring of Honor, Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty was right up your street, brother. And man, if you just like some 1999 WWF TV, then Chris Jericho's pulling that shit off for you too with Eddie Kingston of all people. It's a hell of a time. they're red hot again here, headed into Revolution, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun stuff to cover in the coming weeks, guys. Any final comments? I'll throw it to you here, shoot first. Any final comments after a prehistoric episode of Dynamite? Sorry, Phil.
I have something I want to talk about that's not related to Dynamite. There was a tweet made today by a man that I've always respected and considered one of the great professional wrestling minds of our generation. Speaking, of course, of Gabe Sapolsky. I've always been a huge supporter of Gabe, big fan of the product that he produces. I'm not sure if you guys saw this tweet, but he tweeted that Buddy Matthews in 2018 205 as Cruiserweight champion on 205 Live. That's not how he put it. He said he was 205 Live champion, which popped me too. May have been the best wrestler in the world. And that just goes to show how much that man gets the business of professional wrestling. So yeah, again, as someone who's always been a big supporter of Gabe Sapolsky, and I'm definitely excited to see what Gabe does next in professional wrestling. This was a great thing for me to see.
It was really, it was just a moment of like.
Does this mean you're going to get NFTs now?
No
comment.
I have limits. Come on.
It was really a moment of just, I think, validation for you and I, shoot. I wasn't going to say this, but you brought it up, so I'll say it. I actually DM'd Gabe and I said, "Hey man, just out of interest, I know you keep track of this stuff. Who do you think had a better 2018? Buddy Murphy or Mustafa Ali?" And he said Ali wasn't in his top 10.
Oh, fuck off.
And I said, hey man, that's a little strong. I think 6 to 10 would have been a fine slot for him, but I appreciate the answer.
You little vengeance. There's your vengeance there.
Hey man, it was warranted. It was warranted.
Gabe, all right, I've got something I got to read to you real quick. Okay.
Okay. We'll go ahead. Go ahead, Oracle.
Now, I know, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, we were on doing Grin Along last night, and I mentioned that one of my brothers, Dustin, has a theory that Cody Rhodes is actually a mole sent in by WWE. So this is what I get, not from text message. This is what I get from a Twitter DM from my own brother who has my phone number this morning. And mind you, I did not even talk to him about this stuff yesterday. So he must have just found out or something. I get this. So, quick background story. I have another friend named Matt who had a theory that his narrative was that Tom Brady couldn't do well outside of the Patriots, and that it was actually Bill Belichick. So, and then he went and then he won a ring with Tampa Bay or whatever. So, this will explain my brother's first statement on this Twitter DM that I received. He says, Matt's narrative may be dead, but if Cody Rhodes is back in the WWE, then my narrative still lives on. AEW, known WWE affiliate.
Is that breaking news? That's an official statement?
That's an official statement from my brother at 8:17 this morning.
Was that
via Twitter DM?
Was that cleared for broadcast here on the world famous Late Night Grin YouTube channel?
Yes.
Ladies
he doesn't watch this. He has no clue I brought this up.
It is with great regret that we announce officially that Cody Rhodes was in fact a mole. He tried to kill the All Elite fleet from within.
He failed miserably. Look at the show tonight.
But more interesting than any of this, it's one thing to leave a place, right?
Grin's coming.
I know. It's another thing to be thrown out of a place, right, Shoot? But to be kicked out and replaced in mere hours by the Australian nightmare, Buddy Matthews.
Chief Buddy Officer.
That is the kind of shame that he could never live down. So
yeah.
I think we can all say that God bless him. Cody Rhodes, you have been fucking owned here as of the 16th of February, 2022. And with that in mind, I would like to say all hail Gabe Sapolsky.
Congratulations to Buddy Matthews for taking the baton.
Yes. Yeah. When did you come up with that one?
Just now.
Okay. Okay, all seriousness, guys, this has been another great one. This last couple of weeks especially have been wonderful. The last month has been quite the ride, hasn't it? We want to thank everyone that's in here that watched the Cody Rhodes video, which has got over 1,000 views, which is saying that I thought was going to be a long, long way away for us as a channel. We got there, and it's only up from here. So hopefully we keep having good wrestling to cover. Across the board, AEW's killing it right now. We'll be here every Wednesday night. There was only not a pre-show this week because, Bud Matt stuff happened, and you get what you get, I suppose. Oracle, shoot. Do we have any promotions you guys want to hear? Oracle, we're doing the historical Oracle tomorrow, right?
We are.
8 p.m. Eastern time?
I still need to put those rankings up. I have them. I need to do that.
Okay. And we are covering November, right?
November of 1995. That's correct. Lots of things. Survivor Series 95. November 95. Yeah. World War III 95.
Yes, indeed. World War III, baby. There you go. It's going to be all right. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time on this free channel for free. I'm going to try and do T-Dub that I missed on Tuesday tomorrow on Patreon, but I don't know what the day will look like yet. Shoot. Any final comments?
Yeah, we've got special primetime grin on Friday at 8 p.m. after Rampage, which will be on our Patreon, which you can subscribe to at latenightgrin.com. $1 a month gets you in. If you want to give us more, great. If you don't, that's fine too. We have no tiers. We will never have tiers. Subscribing gets you access to everything. We have additional content, which is probably about 8 to 10 hours a week behind the paywall at least. Another benefit behind the paywall is you can get audio versions of these shows. If you'd rather listen to us in podcast form, we have latenightgrinshop.com where you can buy our merch. Definitely a project that we take seriously.
Indeed.
And don't just pop huge whenever anyone orders anything, which we do appreciate, to be clear. Was it streamlabs.com/latenightgrin?
Yes, and that's where you can, and this is something I didn't even realize, and I hope I've read everyone's. I'm actually going to check one last time here. I think I hit all of them earlier, but people can just send those whenever. So like sometimes I'll get an email like when Bud Matt stuff happens, someone sent one, and I was just like, that's awesome. We do appreciate it a lot. Obviously, we made a major free agent signing. The cap.
Yes.
Cap needs expanding. Speaking of such, Jay Shell and I will do the free agents on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time before the world famous Late Night Grin. I quickly want to hit that point you said there, Shoot. Big thank you. And this is probably not the place to do this because we're on the no paywall, whatever. Big thank you to the patrons that inexplicably enjoy the content so much they've upped their pledge. Which allows our relative lack of growth to go unnoticed because our money goes up. So we appreciate that. We appreciate all the support. You can follow the Confirm Shoot at Confirm Shoot, Oracle at King Motivator H, myself at Joe Holbert. That's where you're going to get all the updates on what content's coming when. I think there's going to be an official Twitter here soon because we're going to hit that 500 a lot sooner than you and I expected, I think, Shoot. So
yeah,
that's coming soon too. Much love.
You may want to lock that down, bud.
Well,
you may want to lock that account down.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's not. Who cares, right? It'd almost be better if we didn't have a actual late night grin. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be a bootlicker. Remember that even when bits seem to be dead, they may come back to life.
You can follow our pal JJ Williams at JJ Williams WON. You can follow our partner J Shell Nicole at J Shell Nicole. Do not follow Bob O'Neill. He's a piece of shit.
Bob O'Neill.
Yeah.
Also, if you're looking for some entertainment tonight, please type in Greg Gagne Shoots on YouTube because we had a great time last night doing that.
Do not search for his Twitter account.
No. Bye, everyone.
Bye.